This
then the
conference will
development,
now be recorded.
and we will end our course with the integration part of the tool.
Yeah.
Okay. So when
Yeah.
I say admin, now what all in the admin scope, as in that's what I feel, at least first the person should get used to the technical terminologies and all those stuff, so
Yeah.
that when we go ahead into the scripting and it makes sense, it is relatable to you and whatnot.
Uh,
So that's why I feel that's the way I always do. I first make the student familiarize with the terms, the terminologies, how those configurations are and whatnot, and
uh,
then we'll proceed further and we'll work on the different areas, different attributes of it.
yeah.
Okay, so that's that.
Yeah.
Now, talking about service. Now, what do you think, Chaitanya? What is service now to you? Like, if anyone asks in layman terminology that explain what is service now, what will be your answer towards it? Any idea?
Yeah. So based on what we use, I'll just tell it's like a platform which predominantly can do. Initially, I thought it can only do incident management. So because we use for our support help desk.
Mm-hmm.
But once I started working on the frameworks, because we also implemented our PMO function in ServiceNow, where we report all the projects in ServiceNow. Then we got exposed to idea and demand. So basically, it's like a platform which is closely on top of adhering to the ITIL framework. So most of the
Mm-hmm.
ITIL terms and terminology, what we read in the theory, is actually ServiceNow closely adapted to the ITIL framework, and it actually created a platform where we can actually implement ITIL practically. So that is what I feel ServiceNow is about.
So when I say, yeah, you're correct that it is ITIL based and all those stuff. So when I say as an end user, as a layman,
Uh,
what will I use service now for? Any idea on that?
so so from a layman perspective, I just use it is like only for creating incidents, and use it like a kind of you want to report any bug or something, you just use
So
this
is it
platform.
only when something is broken, or anything apart from that also the tool supports? Any idea on that?
Uh, uh, yes, it can do task management and stuff, but as of now, we only use it for it's for reactive measures. So yeah, I think that is the answer I have. Probably you should actually give me more vision. Yeah.
No, no, obviously. Yeah, okay. Okay, so coming back to the terminology service now, like if anyone asks me what is service now, and not going to the technical stuff
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
the simplest definition which I'll make over there is service now is a ticketing tool.
Yeah.
You may ask me, okay, what do you mean by ticketing tool? Like when you say a ticket is going to get created, what will can be the possible use cases in which you are going to create a ticket?
Yeah.
So the possible use cases over there could be like one example, which you said something is broken, something is not working as expected. Yeah, I do need to report an incident because I'm facing issue of certain kind.
Yeah.
The other scenario could be what? The other scenario over here in this particular one up is like, for example, let's say I need a new product from the company. In that case, also I will be using ServiceNow.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I suppose got allocated to maybe a Java project. So for
Yeah.
that, okay, what I need is I need a maybe Eclipse tool where I can do the scripting and whatnot. So yeah, even in that case also, you need to have what? Even in such case also, you need to go ahead into the instance and you need to do nothing but you need to get a tool through which you can communicate with a technician, communicate with the software team or whosoever is a needful team to get your product, to get your offering.
Mm.
So in that
Mm.
case also we are making use of it.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the two scopes in which you use as an end user. Again, obviously, if a company is spending in a tool and you might be knowing that, yeah, the price is quite high and all those steps, so
Yeah.
obviously it has to provide some other applications, some other features also. So
Yeah.
what are those? We will surely explore across the training, but these are the major areas. That is, a person needs a new product, or a person is having a product, holding a product, and it is not working as designed. In either of these two cases, the person is going to do what is he or she needs to communicate with the people and whatnot. In that case, how will they communicate? By making use of this configuration over here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So now let's see how does it work further. So first thing first is, as I said, ServiceNow is a ticketing tool. Now, when I say it is a ticketing tool, do you have, as in, have you ever explored or do you have any idea? Is ServiceNow the only ticketing tool into the market, or are there other plenty of tools also with a similar approach? Any idea on that?
Yeah, so I think one of the thing which we also is, before this we used Jira, and also like we used to use Manage Engine,
Uh-huh.
like a ticketing tool. So and also Microsoft, we initially explored CRM for creating a kind of a help desk inside CRM. So
Uh-huh.
as a ticketing tool. So we explored this before we actually came up that ServiceNow is a better option. Yeah, so those
So
are
why
they are
why
definitely.
to say ServiceNow is a better option? What kind of the reasoning behind that?
Uh, the reason being, first of all, the priority and impact and urgency and other stuff, which is closely aligned to, it is much simpler, and also it is you can what we found for other things, the reports where actually you can create your own dashboards, and it is much more user friendly, and also
Okay.
like everyone can create their own views. It can integrate with Azure, the Active Directory, and that's one of the thing. But from not technically, but from a user side, you can actually like whoever is using it, be it support staff or any users, you can have your own views. You can actually like have your create tickets in a way, and also you can generate reports out of the like and generate dashboards. So I feel that it
Uh-huh.
is much more like a self-sufficient or like a self-serve ticketing tool.
Okay. So yeah, I would agree to one part of it saying that yeah, what the statement which you made that today dashboards are there and so many advanced options are there. I agree to that. So if
Yeah,
you see the history, if
yeah,
you see like around I think 2003 sometime when ServiceNow was developed. Obviously that time as you mentioned, Jira, your Remedy, so many other ITSM tools, so many other uh, tools with the same baseline were existing, and they
mm,
had stable market. It was not that they were new.
yeah,
So obviously then the question arises, then why companies did this transition,
yeah,
right? Why organization agreed to this particular transition when I'm saying okay, so many tools had the same overview, same designing and whatnot.
yeah.
So any thought process around that, like why service now? Why did it gain so popularity? The way it is popular today, why it happened and how it happened and stuff like that.
Um, as I said, like, see, one thing which based on my limited experience on ServiceNow is more
Okay.
related to, yeah, so it is more related to ITIL framework, because most of the the infrastructure and the support actually aligns to the ITIL framework. So, and ServiceNow was built on top of it. So probably that is the reason, because we can implement ITSM, which is the ServiceNow is industry leading platform. So,
Okay.
and also it aligns to the ITIL best practices. So that's the reason it is probably that is one of the factors where people actually are aligning towards ServiceNow as a platform when compared to the other tools.
So the major reason actually of that transition was because if you see the history of other ticketing tools,
Uh,
in comparison to other ticketing tools, ServiceNow is the only tool which which delivers a tool as a software as a service. Have you heard about the term software as a service?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What does that mean?
It is actually hosted. It's a managed services which is
Uh,
actually managed by ServiceNow somewhere. So we just use this subscription. We subscribe to that service and we just use it.
Correct. So the overhead in using such tool is less. Do you agree? For
Sorry, come
example,
again.
let's say I purchased a tool as a platform as a service.
Yeah,
Okay. So when I'm
yeah,
purchasing a tool as a platform as a service, in that case, if I note it down here, so if I'm purchasing a tool as a platform as a service, in that case, my company, the customer company, will have to own the database
yeah.
server. That's the UI of the tool.
Mm,
Everything customer company will have to take care. The day they sign the contract, they get the product as a platform as a service.
yeah,
Customer company takes up the overhead of maintaining, working on it,
yeah,
whatever the case may be.
yeah, yeah.
But the same thing when I'm using as what? But the same thing when I'm using or when I'm working on it as a software as a service. In this case, database and server is always maintained by the tool owners.
Mm,
Only the UI, the look and feel, the changes on that level is maintained by the customer company.
yeah,
When said so, if it is software as a service, the overhead on the customer company is less because yeah, the tool owners are they are taking care of the backend They are taking care of each and every aspect of tool. So be it server upgrade, be it let's say the database crashes tomorrow or whatever kind of issue it may be, each and every stuff people will take care for me.
Yep.
Make sense?
Yep. Makes sense.
Okay. So what we need to understand over here in this particular one up is that when we are going in here, what we need to understand is that if you see here, if I take you slide wise,
Yeah.
we are saying ServiceNow is nothing but it is a software platform.
Yeah.
Why am I saying it is a software platform? Because in this case, how are we accessing the tool? Because in this particular one up, we are accessing the tool as a software. What does it
Yeah.
mean? Means in this case, the tool owners, in this case, for example, ServiceNow is going to take care of the database and server. Like even if you're talking, when you asked me the version of the tool which ServiceNow is in right now and stuff like that, even such stuff ServiceNow is taking care of, okay?
Yeah.
Be it upgrade and all. We just need to make a request, that's it.
Yeah.
And ServiceNow will do the needful action for us. Correct?
Yep.
So that's that.
Yeah. Understood.
Okay. Now the next thing which we need to understand over here in this case, it says it supports the IT service management.
Yeah.
So what do we mean by that? We mean by that any particular point in time, if I am saying a tool is ITSM tool means it is doing what? It means it is automating day-to-day interaction process between the end user and the technician.
Yeah.
Anytime if the end user and the technicians have to interact, yeah, they are going to interact in this particular way.
Yep.
Correct? So that's
Yep.
that. For example, let's say as I told, like let's say if I'm a new joinee, I need a product. If I'm an existing one and I need some offering or whatever the case may be, in such cases it does the needful action for us.
Yep.
Okay, so that's that. The next thing over here in this case is it's saying it is a software as a service platform. It contains number of applications. So as I was saying, not only for two application a tool will be built and the customer will obviously spend into that. The scope of the
Yep.
tool is quite wider than that.
Yep.
Okay, so what are those? How are those being used? And surely we will talk about that. We
Sure.
will see the key applications and also we'll try to even understand what if you have, as you asked, what if we have to build a new application or what if I have to tweak the existing application, what all we can do, what all configuration are allowed and what not. So obviously, yeah, we even need to talk about that.
Yep.
So surely we'll discuss that too. Okay. The next thing over here in this case is if you see this line, it has got so many terminologies. So if you notice over here, we are saying it is a software as a service which contains number of users.
Yep.
What does that mean? It means obviously at any particular point in time, whenever we are doing the configuration, whenever we are doing the setup, each and every employee of the company will have their account into the tool, but the
Yeah.
kind of the access they will have will be different.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yep.
what we need to understand over here in this particular one up is that we need to understand over here in this case that while doing the configuration in this one, if suppose for example I'm end user, I'll have a very limited access to the tool. If I am
Yep.
admin, my access will be different, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yep.
that's what that
Okay.
is about.
Yep.
Next over here in this case is we are saying it varies also by instance, means it looks like ServiceNow is providing us multiple instances. Now what can that mean? What can that refer to? What ServiceNow
Like.
says? ServiceNow says, okay, when you are going to sign contract with ServiceNow, ServiceNow will give your organization minimum of 3 different URL.
Mm.
What can be the purpose of multiple URL? Like why do we need it?
Like a development, test, and production instance, just to actually do development and testing and the actual production for production.
Chaitanya, have you used the tool? Like you know so much. So how is it that because you told you are from the
Yeah.
chem, huh?
Oh, actually, we use this tool, Saloni, and also I work on Microsoft Dynamics 365, Office 365, so a lot of technology, so it sounds familiar. So I align with
Okay.
that particular thing. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
Good to know always. Okay, perfect. So yeah, you are correct on that. That is over here in this case, when we sign the contract with ServiceNow gives a minimum of three different type of URLs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct. So what all are those URLs for? ServiceNow says, okay, I'll give you one URL for doing the
Yeah.
development work, one URL for testers to test to validate, and third URL
Yeah.
will be the production of the go live URL.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So what we needed to understand over here in this case, we need to understand over here in this particular one up is at any particular point in time, whenever uh, we are doing the configuration, minimum three different URL as you said will be there. But again, if your company wants more URL, even that is feasible. Like if my company says no, I even want a URL for training people. I even want a URL for maybe UAT, user acceptance test and whatnot. So even though that is feasible, if we want more URL, you will pay more to the ServiceNow. ServiceNow will give you more URL if and when required.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how the configuration is in the tool. So
Yeah.
base package is 3 URL, dev, test, production. But if you want more URL, yeah, even that will be feasible and allowed.
Sure.
Now, as I was talking about, in the case of software as a service, because the overhead was less in the company, the companies preferred that. But you will say, okay, if you see software service in comparison to platform as a service, the data security is more here
Yeah.
because the data customer company is owning. But over here, data of yours is
The tool
handled
owner.
by the tool owner.
Yeah.
Now, in the ticketing tool, who are the targeted customers? Any idea on that?
The end users would be the people who use the various services of that
So when
particular
you say end
company.
users,
Yeah.
are they the customer or are they the in-house employees of the organization? Do you know that?
The end users are the in-house employees of the organization who use the services of the organization.
Correct.
And
So can
yeah.
I say this beach service, not any other ticketing tool? These are used by the in-house employees to do certain kind of technical interaction. Can I say so?
Yeah. You can actually say so. Yes.
So when these tools, I would make a generic statement. So when these tools are being used by the in-house employees, are they generating direct revenue for the company?
Um,
Obviously, no.
it, no, it depends, but yeah, the answer would be no because yeah, because like for example, ServiceNow
Hmm.
is not directly generating any revenue to the company because it is just
Indirectly,
used.
it is. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
indirectly. Yes.
Indirectly, it is, but obviously, directly, it is not.
Yeah.
So when directly it is not, what we want to understand in this case is that over here in this case, I can say that at any particular point in time, whenever we are using a tool just to automate the common business process and it's not generating revenue of certain kind, we want to have less overhead in that particular case. So
Yeah.
that's why when ServiceNow came up with this software as a service approach, the organizations started liking it because in this case, as you can see, if you suppose, for example, I'm using the tool as a platform as a service, I'll have to hire minimum of three different type of resources.
Mm-hmm.
People who know database, that is the
Yeah.
Unix scripting, your SQL scripting, plus obviously that tool level scripting.
Yeah.
But in ServiceNow, we only have to hire ServiceNow developers, people like you and me, and we are good to manage the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that way, it was less overhead on the company. Financially, obviously, as ServiceNow, people ask to me, ServiceNow is expensive tool. Yeah, it is, but still, because of the overhead less, because now we don't have to worry about the database backups and if database is crashed, who will restore? Everything is maintained by ServiceNow. So yeah, that way, organizations are surely happy about that process.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what that is about. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
so now the next thing over here in this particular one up is what? The next thing over here in this case is that ServiceNow is saying when you see software as a service, in this case, how are we accessing the tool then? The best example of you to
Mm-hmm.
understand that, of for us to understand, it could be I would take the example of maybe let's say Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
How are we accessing the tool? Through the web based interface.
Yes.
And in that case, how does the tool work? Like, we are accessing the tool through the web-based interface, and the data is always owned by the tool owner. Similar is the case in this case also. That is, in this particular one up, what is happening? In this case also, the data is centrally hosted in the cloud network of ServiceNow. We are accessing the tool through a web-based interface.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that one. I hope you are good till here.
Yeah, I'm clear. Thank you.
Okay, so that's that. History of the tool. It was found in 2003.
Okay.
It was found in 2003 by Fred Leddy. Fred was initially actually working for Remedy.
Yeah.
You might would have heard Remedy is also a tool similar like ServiceNow, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. The
So from
yeah.
there, yeah, he got the idea of the tool and started working on it.
Okay.
So that's how the configuration is.
Okay.
Okay. And it says that it's based on ITIL standards and the headquarter of ServiceNow is in California.
Yeah.
So are we good so far? Any query till here?
No, Saloni. Thank you.
Okay. So this was the demo. Obviously, I'm not going very much in depth because yeah, it's just
Sure.
a demo over here. So do
Sure.
you have any query, any questions for me?
No, Saloni. I think so far so good.
Uh,
And so
okay.
it should be. Yeah. So I just want to actually like so it will be the same time we'll be continuing, right? In case if I
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So let me know the feedback, as in you can talk to the coordinator regarding the same, and based on
Sure.
that, we will start the regular class from tomorrow itself.
No problem, Saloni. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.